안전하지 못해 불합격! 안전하지 못해 불합격! 안전하지 못해 불합격!
Hello, this is KRBrickBot, and I'm taking a look at another Tobot V product, Titan Saver. I guess I could say this product is sponsored by Young Toys, because I won this in a certain event. So basically, you just purchased the product and then submitted the receipt for a chance to win a trip to the voice acting recording studio, or a Tobot V product. And I just so happened to be one of those lucky 40. You may not be the greatest mini combiner, greatest admiral, but thank you for hooking me up with this. So, taking a look at the packaging. The side of the box shows a Titan Saver. And the back, it shows a little ramp that you can slide down for auto transformation. Yes, this is an auto transforming product. And the side view. Both vehicles and the main robot mode. First off, it comes with this pre-assembled thick cardboard ramp. No extra assembly required. Straight out of the box. Well, there's that center thing. It could make a nice display stand with downward arrows because this ramp is not for jumping up, but for going down. And on the bottom, there is a nice backdrop of the city on fire. It's really on fire. And I don't see any clever Korean parody references. It is a small backdrop, but I guess it's just big enough to display just this main robot. So it looks like an autonomous fire bulldozer, I would describe it as. With front plows and a turret with a water hose with a asymmetrical extension. And here's the back. And it's interesting to note that these shoulders are actually asymmetrical. That's a very unique design there. And it has simple front wheels and translucent back roller wheels for the treads. And you can fold this up, which reveals some nice gold painted ornate details here. It does have some auto transformation, so pull apart the arms, which flips down the legs, and then flip those feet, and turn those hands, and flip up the helmet. And there's Titan Saver in his base robot mode. A stubby little guy with a very big head that looks quite awkwardly proportioned because this head is supposed to be proportioned with the main mode. But that is a pretty nice traditional robot face. White and sky blue in there with the nose and mouth, and a nice V-style badge on here. And you can see the little fists here that are holding these plows or shields. They're not detachable, but I suppose you can detach them if you unscrew the screws here. And coming on the bottom, there are some nice translucent parts and some bull bar kneecaps with the treads on the side. That gives them a nice look. Articulation for this guy, the head can swivel that much. Well, I guess if you bump the shoulders, you can make it do 90. The arms, they just go on a soft ratchet swivel, no other bits of articulation. Well, there's a sort of wrist articulation, just a shoulder and a wrist. But the legs, they have ball socketed forward and backward and splits because it was on a ball socket thigh and a thigh swivel. A little thigh swivel. and a transformational foot. So this little Titan Saver got some leg. So you can do some decent poses with this guy. So looking at the main component, the Titan engine. So it's a fictitious fire engine vehicle thing. Very big, very wide, with two hose arm things. This one looks like a giant water cannon, and this one looks like a grabber arm. Too bad it can't actually open. Some nice gold and black throughout, and orange sirens there, and little headlights there, and four big wheels. But most of the weight is held on these four little transparent little roller wheels. Kind of squeaky. So I guess this could remind someone of a Takara Brave type vehicle, a super robot type vehicle. Or the Takara Rescue Backdraft from the Drivehead series. And I think it could fit in one of Studio Button's other shows, Fire Robo. Is that an homage? Yeah, in the back, it kind of obviously looks like scrunched up robot legs. And visible fists. It's a fictitious fire vehicle, but at least it looks more like a vehicle than the Storm Joe's Commando Specialist. So what scale is Titan Saver supposed to be in? Well, from what I can gather from the animated series, it looks like this Titan Saver is a few heads taller than the average male adult human. So this is just to give some sense. It'd probably be about this high if the head was actually proportionate to the rest of the body. And here's a Tobot V Mini Speed. And Barricade. Give a sense. Probably Scout class. The easiest scale to put him is in the general Chug scale. Okay, so how this thing auto-transforms? First, let me convert this back into the engine mode. You just press it all down together until everything clicks. So it's all held together by this central block. Rotate that in, and then everything should be secured. So what happens here is when this orange transparent trigger is pressed by this little tab here, that will unlatch this, which will spring it forward, and then which will in turn press these orange buttons. This springs out first, and press these buttons, which releases the legs, and then makes it turn around. And in the process also lowering the arms. Then manually flip up the head. Alternatively, you can take this retooled Moncart Gigaloid and roll it down the ramp. So it's certainly a very wide bot. The most noticeable details are these bull bar knees, which are kind of like, the ones on the smaller robot. And also these very big shoulder sirens. And some nice black and gold and red bursts throughout. And the legs, yeah, there's a very obvious, very wide platform. Because that needs some weight to auto-spring that thing, and it's not retractable, so you're stuck with this. Back is pretty plain. So as I said, because the head is meant to be proportional to this body, it looked rather super deformed on the smaller robot, but looks just fine on the main body. And for articulation, there's the head swivel, but everything else is spring-loaded as to be expected. Well, you can flip forward these weapons and then make them point forward for as long as you hold it, unless you heavily modify this. Or maybe just some sort of whacking. Yeah, some sort of whacking play. And the waist can turn 180, exactly 180, not the other way. So if you somehow secure this and do this, you could just do some side whacking. And the legs, they are spring-loaded. Like this, so you can't really pose them, but at least you can do this. And there's a very slight amount of wiggle in the wrist, so I'm thinking this might be a squared peg, which you could give a wrist articulation if you shave that off, I suppose. Not sure how useful wrist articulation will be for these arms anyway. Size comparisons. Storm Joe. Significantly bigger. Mini Greatest Admiral, the Rescue Backdraft from Takara Drivehead, and Classics Optimus Prime. It's an auto-transforming toy, but at least it's a more involved and complex auto-transforming toy, with a decent individual smaller posable bot. I guess your mileage will vary depending on how much you like auto-transforming toys. The consensus is generally the same for these kind of toys. It's momentarily enjoyable for the intended audience and kind of a nice desktop toy fidgeter for older people. But it's a low-key recommendation for a $50 auto-transforming transformer.
Thanks for watching, and be sure to like and subscribe for more Korean robot content. And until next time, this is KRBrickBot signing off.